Hey
Hi,
Sarah, how you
hey,
doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good, good. Congratulations on such a phenomenal show. From the first thing to, I'm in episode 4 now. I've been hooked.
Oh,
So
thank you, thank you. Yeah, I mean, you put together, put Julia Roberts, Sean Penn, Dan Stevens, Betty. You put these people together, with Matt Ross directing. It's going to be something good.
it's really special, and I'm obsessed with your character. So I can't wait to get talking about him. I wanted to know what drew you to this project initially.
Initially it was to, I mean, I think thinking back, initially it was to go back to work with Julia Roberts again. She's been instrumental kind of in my career, giving me two of the best parts that I've had. I was a fan of Matt Ross from Captain Fantastic. I'd seen his film. I was late to the party on that one, but when I saw it, I was just blown away by it. And then, I to work with Julia and Sean, I'd worked with Sean before. So, that was initially what drew me to it. And then, to be able to take on someone like Liddy and to see if I can figure him out, and figure out the human being in him. Uh, that was that was it.
How much have you known about Liddy before coming on? Because I mean, Watergate, people just say Nixon and that's it, and then but there's some really interesting characters that in play in this whole scandal.
Yeah. I mean, I knew the greatest hits of Liddy. You know what I mean? I knew. So that was what, to me, for me as an actor, I enjoy the process almost more leading up to commencing, on action the first day. I love the trying to figure out a complicated character like Liddy. Um, so, that's, yeah, that's what really, I'd learned, I got a chance to learn a lot. I mean, when you take on someone like Liddy, I start very broad in the work, and I got several months lead in. And as a matter of fact, I was over in London doing Mission Impossible 7 when I got the call from Matt Ross. And so I just, began to really figure out how am I going to approach him, because I knew all the insanity of Liddy, but I needed to find I needed to ask the questions of is he honorable in any way? What where can I hang my hat on to start to play him? And it was he didn't name names. You know what I mean? He wasn't a snitch in any way on anyone. Haldeman, Ehrlichman, Dean, any of them. And he was going to do 23 years. And you ask yourself, I mean, could I do that? I don't know. That's a pretty big ask. He did it. He was going to do it. And then his family, how he loved his 5 kids and Francis, and so that's where I started.
Exactly, and it really works because he's this kind of multifaceted character who kind of thinks himself to be this man of mystery, but can't really sustain that kind of idea of himself.
Yeah, you know, I mean, what makes him fascinating? I mean, he comes from a place of insecurity with him. He never felt enough. He was afraid of everything as a child. And I don't think he ever felt enough in his father's eyes. And so his whole life essentially is looking for that and to try to face his fears. And also, all he wants at the end of the day is to have the king, Richard Nixon, see him. You know what I mean? He just wants to be seen by the king and to say that you are a great man and you're filled with genius ideas. You know what I mean? And he'll do anything for the cause. I think to be seen by Nixon, he above family, friends. I mean, when I was starting to work on him, and really all throughout, that was the main thing. Is he wanted to be seen by Nixon above all else.
Absolutely, and he does have. I generally think the gemstones ideas that had some kind of credence for him. It was like a good film.
Well, I mean, I mean, we're going to kidnap Democratic operatives and put them in Mexico in black sites. We're going to hire high class call girls in Miami and videotape them. I mean, when Mitchell laughs me out of the room on Gemstone, when Sean, I think that's one of the, to me, I love that sequence into the embarrassment that he feels with Dean. I can't believe that they don't see his genius, Liddy. And then into the son, the scene with my son in the basement, when he just gives this kind of beautifully sage advice of there are good ships and there's friendships, and that's what means, you know what I mean? And I really love that.
I was about to say that is one of my favorite scenes where his son teaches him that the only way to get over bullying is to befriend them.
Yeah, I told someone earlier this morning, they were asking me what scenes are your favorites, and there's so many wild scenes with Liddy, and the hand burning and the trying to kill McCord and and all that. I said, to me, the one that surprised me the most was how tender the scene turned out with my son. And I think we need that. I mean, you'll see if you get a chance to watch into 7 and finally 8, you'll see where it goes with Liddy. He goes on a heavy journey, and so we need that scene with the kids. And there's another scene with my kids. It's really quite beautiful.
Yeah, because I do like that he's tender, because it's the end, like a man of like Liddy's kind of like macho-ness. You kind of expect him to kind of dismiss his son and tell him to be a man, but that kind of tenderness that he has with him is quite beautiful, really.
Yeah, I'm real careful. Like when I take these, I'm not afraid. I want to always do them justice, and I always want to give them a fair shake. Any of these characters I play, and I play some pretty diabolical, guys, men on the page. And I never want to put something in that's not real. You know what I mean? I don't want to make them better men than they are. But that scene, I think, in my research and my work on him, I think it's true to form and how he felt about his kid. You know what I mean? So I didn't feel like we were putting something in there to try to make him better than he was. That was, Liddy was at his low point at that time.
Absolutely. And the other thing, there's a quote by the FBI agents that really struck with me, because that's how I felt in the first episode, where they're like, what if these men are just morons? And I feel like that is generally the case with Liddy and his crew.
Yeah.
That Watergate scene plays like a slapstick
yeah.
scene.
I agree. And again, once you find the humanness of them, the insanity of that was not the first time. We had to go in again. We couldn't get it right on the first time. You know what I mean? And I thought the kind of genius of Matt Ross understood the Coen brothers aspect of the break-in. You know what I mean? And that was the story that I was really interested in telling, is like the levity of the situation, the humor of the situation. You know what I mean? Played very real. You know what I mean? We wiretapped the secretary talking to her boyfriend. You know what I mean? That, to me, that's beautiful stuff.
It works so well, honestly. It's such a fun, serious, real series with some great performances, especially from you. So thank you so much for talking to me today.
It's really nice to meet you.
Thank you, you too. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I can't wait to see you.
You too. I'll see you. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey!